Still, no one spoke. Quentin looked at me, a triumphant glint in his eyes, daring me to challenge him. He always had an excuse ready, a plausible denial, a smooth deflection. Other people saw it, I knew. They saw it and said nothing. The deeper betrayal was stumbled upon, quite accidentally, at our annual Thanksgiving dinner. The house was noisy, bustling with family, a perfect cover. I'd stepped into the den, looking for my phone, when I heard Quentin's hushed voice from the patio. He was on a call, the crisp autumn air carrying snippets of his conversation. Diverting the Q4 funds. Make sure Delia's name isn't on the official paperwork for the inheritance trust. He can't know. He referred to our father. My blood ran cold. The inheritance trust? Grandma Estelle's legacy. The money she'd intended for both of us, managed by Dad? My mind raced, piecing together fragments of odd financial statements I'd dismissed. The initial shock was physical, a wave of nausea. My brother was stealing from our family, and worse, he was cutting me out of what was rightfully mine. The world seemed to tilt. I stood frozen, then slowly, silently, backed away. Confront him now or investigate further. The thought of his smooth lies, his endless gaslighting, made the answer clear. I chose to investigate. For weeks, I became a ghost, moving through our family business, through our shared financial history, unseen. My first stop was Aunt Maeve, a retired forensic accountant and, thankfully, the family's resident truth seeker. Her skepticism turned to grim determination as I showed her the initial oddities. Together, we began. I pored over old trust documents, corporate ledgers, bank statements. Each week revealed a deeper layer of his deceit. We uncovered a shell company, Phoenix Investments, registered to a P.O. box in a different state. No public trace of Quentin, just a series of cleverly obscured transactions. Aunt Maeve, with her sharp eye for numbers, connected the dots between Phoenix and a series of unusual disbursements from Grandma Estelle's inheritance trust, funds that should have gone to me. Ian Maxwell, a private investigator Aunt Maeve recommended, delved into the digital shadows, unearthing communications, hidden asset registrations. The worst discovery hit me like a physical blow. My initial $100,000 investment from years ago, the startup capital for his brilliant venture, had been immediately funneled into Phoenix Investments. From there, it had been used to acquire properties and assets that were now solely in Quentin's name, laundered clean. He hadn't just stolen from the family trust. He'd started by stealing from me years ago. I meticulously created a paper trail, organizing every document, every screenshot, every transaction. This wasn't just about money. It was about exposing the rot at the core of our family. The ultimate humiliation arrived at the annual shareholder meeting. The Maxwell Industries boardroom was packed. Quentin, having orchestrated a unanimous board vote the previous week to give him full control over a new acquisition fund, proposed a hostile takeover of a smaller competitor. He spoke with a chilling arrogance, painting me as an emotional liability, unable to make the tough decisions needed for growth. Delia's sentimentality, he declared, gesturing dismissively in my direction, will be our downfall. We need ruthless vision, not a tender heart. Uncle Julian, Zahara Khan, our new corporate counsel, and a dozen other shareholders were present, their eyes darting between us. I met Quentin's gaze with a blank expression, but inside, a seismic shift occurred. My internal resolve solidified, icy and unbreakable. I noted the triumphant gleam in his eyes, the smugness in his posture as he scanned the room, believing he had utterly defeated me. That, I realized, was his fatal mistake. He thought I was broken. That's when I realized he didn't just want my money. He wanted me erased from the narrative, from the family, from the company. He wanted my very presence to be an inconvenient ghost. The decision to execute the plan was immediate, irreversible. I conducted one last test, feigning ignorance about Phoenix Investments during a casual lunch. Quentin, I heard a rumor about some new company. Phoenix? Is that part of our strategy? He waved his hand dismissively. Don't bother your pretty head with things you don't understand, Delia. It's just a small side venture, nothing you need to worry about. His response sealed his fate. My final accommodating act that day was to congratulate him on his bold vision for the company's future. A smile plastered on my face that tasted like ash. He never saw it coming. Assembling my team was like constructing a perfectly engineered machine. I met first with Zahara Khan, our new corporate counsel, who quickly proved herself to be sharp, ethical, and strategically brilliant. She was the legal architect. Then came Aunt Maeve, her forensic accounting skills invaluable, meticulously tracing every fraudulent transaction. Ian Maxwell, the private investigator, was my eyes and ears in the digital underworld, his calm demeanor hiding a ruthless efficiency. Each expert played a vital role. Zahara focused on the corporate fraud and embezzlement, preparing a comprehensive legal strategy. Aunt Maeve unraveled the tangled web of shell companies and diverted funds, creating an irrefutable financial narrative. Ian went after the digital trail, securing communications and hidden asset data. The cost of this preparation was substantial, over $75,000 in retainers and fees within the first few weeks alone, but every penny was an investment in justice. This meticulously coordinated effort took 6 painstaking months. Evidence collection became a full-time obsession. We gathered security camera footage from the corporate office showing Quentin shredding boxes of documents late at night. Ian recovered over 47 text messages between Quentin and his accomplice Marco, discussing money transfers, fabricating evidence against me, and spreading lies about my work ethic. Aunt Maeve's forensic audit included bank statements meticulously detailing $120,000 transferred from Grandma Estelle's trust directly into Phoenix Investments. Uncle Julian, disillusioned after the shareholder meeting, provided crucial witness testimony, confirming Quentin's hostile remarks and repeated attempts to sideline me. Aunt Maeve, during innocent-looking family lunches, wore a discreet wire, capturing Quentin's boasts about his schemes and his thinly veiled disdain for me. There was an email trail, meticulously preserved, between Quentin and the Phoenix Investments shell company, detailing their illicit activities. Photos and screenshots documented his sudden lavish purchases, a new sports car and expensive watch, all post-dating the initial fund diversions. We obtained this evidence through a combination of Maeve's internal company access, Ian's sophisticated digital forensics, and Zahara's strategic use of pre-litigation subpoenas. There were close calls. I remember one evening, almost caught checking his laptop while he was distracted by a phone call, my heart pounding in my chest. Simultaneously, I built my financial fortress. I opened new, individual accounts at Sterling Bank and Summit Credit, methodically transferring my remaining personal funds and liquidating all joint investments, often in small, untraceable increments. I protected specific valuable items. Grandma Estelle's antique emerald necklace, my grandfather's rare stamp collection, carefully storing them away. I canceled his access to all joint credit cards and changed every single online banking password, every security question. I set up automatic payments for all my solo bills, making sure my financial life was entirely independent. As a decoy, I deliberately left a small, active joint account for recurring household bills he used, a calculated misdirection to keep him completely oblivious to my maneuvers. He thought he was draining my accounts, but he was only draining a carefully curated mirage. Zahara, meanwhile, armed herself with an arsenal of legal weapons. We prepared fraud charges, a breach of fiduciary duty suit against him for his handling of the family trust, and a shareholder derivative action on behalf of Maxwell Industries, all targeting his egregious misuse of company funds. Zahara discovered an obscure corporate transparency law in our state that became crucial, requiring disclosure of beneficial ownership for all entities doing business with Maxwell Industries, forcing the Phoenix Investments shell company into the light. She also drafted immediate restraining order paperwork, a necessary backup plan if Quentin reacted with aggression. We explored every legal angle, every precedent, leaving no stone unturned. The day of execution was precisely timed. Quentin was scheduled to receive his Young Business Leader of the Year award at the annual town charity gala, an event teeming with local dignitaries, business associates, and family. It was his moment of ultimate public validation. That morning, I prepared with a calm serenity that surprised even myself. I selected a beautiful sapphire gown, meticulously did my hair, and reviewed the final binder of evidence Zahara had prepared. My mind was crystal clear. I imagined Quentin at that moment, likely preening, completely unaware, his ego swelling with anticipation. This would be his last night of undisturbed triumph. I found Quentin in the pre-gala reception hall, just moments before he was called to the stage. He was basking in the glow of admirers, holding court. I approached him, a placid smile on my face. "Quentin," I began, my voice clear and cutting, "we need to talk about Phoenix Investments." His charming smile faltered. "Not now, Delia," he said, his voice strained. "This is my night." Without a word, I handed him a slim, elegantly bound document, a preliminary forensic audit report. His eyes scanned the title, then flickered with confusion, then concern. "This is nonsense," he hissed, attempting to maintain his composure. a fabrication. I countered, my voice low and steady. Page 17. The $120,000 transfer from Grandma Estelle's trust. The one you funneled through Marco's shell company. It's all there, Quentin. His face began to drain of color. He opened his mouth, no doubt to gaslight, to explain, but I didn't give him the chance. I didn't allow him to recover. I pulled out a small, sleek tablet. On the screen, a video compilation began to play silently. Aunt Maeve's audio recordings, snippets of Quentin boasting about his clever schemes, interspersed with scrolling screenshots of text messages between him and Marco, detailing the fraud, the slandering of my name. His panic escalated. He looked wildly around, his eyes darting to the tablet, then to the growing number of curious faces turning our way. Delia, please, we can fix this, he begged, his voice cracking. Family. I didn't flinch. I listed calmly, precisely, his crimes. You've laundered family money. You defrauded a trust. You sabotaged my career. And you smeared my reputation. The board, the police, and this entire room will see all of it. Just then, Uncle Julian, who had been watching from a distance, walked over, a grim expression on his face. He nodded slowly as he took the tablet from my hand, his gaze fixed on Quentin. Quentin's face crumpled. He was trapped. Delia, don't do this to me. I'm your brother, he pleaded, his voice a desperate whisper. I looked him dead in the eye, my voice devoid of emotion. You stopped being my brother the day you stole my future. The immediate fallout was swift and brutal. Within 24 hours, the story, fueled by the evidence I'd provided and a strategically timed press release from Zahara, exploded. The Maxwell Industries board called an emergency meeting, suspending Quentin without pay. My phone buzzed with calls from mutual friends and shocked family members, all learning the truth about his carefully constructed facade. Social media, of course, ran wild. Quentin, in a desperate attempt at damage control, posted a rambling, victim-blaming tirade on LinkedIn, accusing me of destroying our family out of jealousy. I remained strategically silent, letting the evidence, the cold, hard facts, speak for themselves. The surprise supporter came from an unexpected quarter. Uncle Julian, who after reviewing all the evidence, publicly issued a statement confirming the authenticity of my claims and expressing his profound disappointment in Quentin's actions. The legal resolution took 3 arduous months. The corporate fraud trial became headline news in our small community. Key testimony from Aunt Maeve, detailing every penny moved, every fraudulent transaction, was devastating. Ian Maxwell's report on the digital trail, the recovered texts, the email threads, painted an undeniable picture of conspiracy. Uncle Julian's testimony, from inside the company, sealed Quentin's fate, exposing his manipulations over years. The judge, in delivering the judgment, made a scathing rebuke of Quentin's actions, calling them a deliberate and sustained campaign of financial and emotional abuse. Quentin was ordered to repay $180,000 to the family trust, stripped of all his Maxwell Industries shares, and permanently forbidden from holding any corporate position for a period of 10 years. His last-ditch appeal was summarily dismissed. The final legal outcome was absolute financial and professional ruin. Zahara's final bill was substantial, well over $100,000 in total, but it was worth every single penny. Quentin's downfall was complete. He now lived in his parents' spare bedroom, driving his mother's old, dented minivan. His job status went from heir apparent to Maxwell Industries to unemployed, then to struggling to find any work. He was eventually spotted stocking shelves at a big box store an hour's drive away. Most of our family, sickened by the revelations, cut ties with him. His friends who had profited from Phoenix investments quietly vanished. Financially, he was bankrupt, facing massive personal debts from his lavish lifestyle and frozen accounts. The true irony was that he, the man who craved wealth and status, now had no access to any family money. The luxury he lost that seemed to sting him the most, I heard through the grapevine, was his annual ski trip to Aspen. My own reality, meanwhile, had transformed. 6 months after the trial, the board of Maxwell Industries, in a unanimous vote, offered me the position of CEO. My career soared, driven by integrity and genuine vision. I was content, single, focusing on ethical business practices, and finally had the space and time to pursue my passion for photography, something Quentin had always dismissed as a frivolous hobby. The unexpected positive was the incredibly close bond one forged with Aunt Maeve and Uncle Julian, 2 truly principled people who stood by me throughout. My perspective had changed profoundly. I no longer allowed others to define my worth or my path. Just last week, I saw Quentin briefly, He was standing in line at the local unemployment office, looking gaunt and defeated. He was wearing the same cheap, ill-fitting suit he'd worn to the charity gala the night I exposed him. He didn't even notice me as I walked past him, a quiet, almost invisible figure in his peripheral vision. Some of us are just built for more, Quentin. I allowed myself a small, satisfied smile as I got into my car and drove towards a future I had finally earned, entirely on my own terms.